As we just heard there, Disney released its third quarter earnings Tuesday. Joining me now to talk more about Disney's future is Erich Reimer. He's president of Nuevo Horizons and host of Tech Investment Insights at Seeking Alpha. Welcome to the show.
Great to be on.
So as we now know, Disney's third quarter earnings missed expectations today. But what are the strongest and weakest aspects of Disney's business at the moment?
I think Disney right now is really at a high potential stage. We see how in these past few years they've really been consolidating a lot of different entertainment assets. And yeah, indeed, their earnings earlier today disappointed. However, the initial losses were clarified upon some high potential products coming up, such as the Fox merger, the streaming service that's coming up next year. And so I think Disney, they have so many brands now. With the Fox merger, they now have a whole variety of brands, ranging from X-Men to The Simpsons, etc. And I think they're really becoming the content powerhouse and really going to the direct-to-consumer direction as well in these upcoming few years.
So as we look at this Fox merger and these assets that it's now taking over, how do you see Disney utilizing them?
And so there's several ways. So firstly, in terms of content, they're acquiring a lot of intellectual property rights to the aforementioned brands, and that really is going to have a lot of content available. With the Disney studios and the Fox studios, that accounts already for now half of the box office receipts in the United States. And so that certainly is going to leverage their movie production a lot, their TV news a lot, with the addition of a lot of Fox channels, Hulu, Sky News, in terms of content streaming, Hulu as well. And so it really is turning them into where all the entertainment, TV, etc. is. There's still some Fox properties that are remaining in the new Fox, but it's really going to be a massive entertainment powerhouse, and it's going to be a serious challenge to companies like Netflix and other entertainment companies as well.
Now, it's interesting because Bob Iger was expected to step down as Disney CEO in 2019, but we now know that he's pushed that back. So how much of that is about the Fox deal and where Disney's going, especially since this is the biggest acquisition in the company's history?
Definitely we see under Bob Iger's leadership, he's certainly been on an acquisition spree. Acquiring Marvel, Pixar, Lucasfilm, and now this incredible Fox deal as well. And so, I think it remains extremely uncertain. Every time in the past he has announced he's stepping down or whatnot, it's something has happened that's pushed it off and whatnot. I think right now, some potential candidates who are potential Bob Iger successors are Bob Chappelle, currently the parks head. We've seen Disney's park segments do really well over this quarter, especially in past years. Some other people are Kevin Mayer, also kind of the more content side. And so, I think certainly Disney under this past decade of Bob Iger's leadership has dramatically changed. Their market cap is up from about $50 billion when he started to now $150 billion. So by that measure, he's been successful. But I think they really are a different company now than what they were when he started, for sure.
And certainly when one thinks of Disney, you can no longer just think of the theme parks. But we know that the theme parks are doing well in Shanghai and Hong Kong. And it's also teamed up now with Alibaba's Youku for streaming services in China. So how else can we expect to see Disney expand in China?
I think the Disney brand is very strong. I think we've seen their theme parks do so well in China precisely because people recognize the Disney brand. They recognize things like the Avengers, like Mickey Mouse, etc. We've seen how so the Chinese citizenry has disposable income to spend at the parks. We've seen how attendance has gone up this quarter especially. And so I think by really emphasizing how it's a global brand, a brand that not just Americans watch, but people from around the world, I think that's the way how Disney can continue to gain traction in China.
Now, Disney's also working on removing its content from Netflix to create its own streaming service. But what's your take on this, especially given how packed the streaming market is?
The streaming market definitely is very packed, and certainly Netflix is still the king of it at the moment. However, we've seen how, once Disney launches its service, they say it will, one, be lower priced than Netflix, and two, it will have an incredible array of content that Disney has now collected, ranging from Marvel to Star Wars to new content they're producing. Netflix has, in these past few years, gained a lot of ground precisely because of Disney's content, but now that Disney is pulling that content, and as I say, content is king, and certainly for Netflix, they're going to have a lot of trouble now running into these kind of like content wars. And another point that helps Disney too is they've done research which shows that consumers are willing to acquire several different streaming services, and so I think once Disney launches, it's going to be a serious competitor because of their content and consumers' willingness to try it out.
All right, thank you so much. Erich Reimer there, president of Nuevo Horizons and host of Tech Investment Insights at Seeking Alpha. Well, for years, the goal of many Chinese actors was to cross over